We need to add a rule to page 129. This is a comma rule that is very, very common. We use this all the time. So this one's important. You will use this possibly every day, depending on how much you write and the kind of job you have. But this one is about writing dates. Okay. So I want to show you how in the United States we properly write the date. So the rule is to use a comma. And remember, a comma is a punctuation mark that looks like that. If it's at the top of the line of text, it's an apostrophe. But commas are down. They're not subscripts, but they're almost. They're down at the bottom of the line. Use a comma between the day and the year. In a date. So, for example, today happens to be February 25th, 2020. And you can see that the comma needs to sit there to separate those two. Your eye wants to see something right there to separate the day of the month from the year. I have had the question before from students, what if I abbreviate February? And notice that I'm capitalizing the name of the month. That is always going to happen. Even if you abbreviate, you still use the comma between the number of the day and the year that you're talking about. My father used military notation for dates, and he would write his dates like this: 25 February 2020. And in this case, we would not use a comma because the word February separates the 25 from the year. So if you happen to live in a country, some European countries use this last format. If you write your dates that way, you don't need the comma. But if you're using the standard format for the United States, you do want the commas in there. Okay. There is another part to this rule that I want you to see, and that is this. If the date is written in the middle of a sentence, this is an introductory phrase, an if statement, so I'm going to use a comma there. Use a comma after the year. And if you need to pause the video to write, that is fine. You can always pause the video. So here is a sentence with the date in the middle of the sentence. I'll show you this example. I'm going to write the entire sentence and then I will come back and add the punctuation. So our flight leaves on February and I'll tell you what, I want you, if you're writing with me, you don't have to erase, but I'm going to erase this because I want to show you this date in a row. On February 25th, 2020 at noon. So you see that I have the same date, it's just in the middle of a sentence. So the rule about day and year is still going to apply. We still need the comma in there. But because this is in the middle of the sentence, we also need a comma after the year. So if your date is coming in the middle of the sentence, you will need commas in two places. And I'll show you another example. Christmas is on December 25th, 2020. And falls on Sunday. And I have no idea if this is true. I should have looked that up before I made the sentence. Okay, so here we have the date, December 25th, 2020. It's in the middle of the sentence, so we need two commas. December 25, comma, and then a comma after the year. And I actually thought of another rule that I can show you. Let's look up the date for Christmas this year. So you go to the internet. I want to know the question, what day is Christmas? And I'm not worrying about capital letters. I'm not writing 2020. And it's actually a Friday. So let me show you another comma rule. Christmas is on December 25th, 2020 and falls on Sunday. And I'm going to say, no, Christmas will be on Friday this year. This one doesn't have a date. This is another comma rule. And here's the rule. If you start a sentence with yes, no, or well, so I'm using commas because I have three things in that series, yes, no, well. I also have an if statement, so I'm going to put a comma here for that. Use a comma. So here, in this case, I'm starting my sentence with the word no, and I need to put a comma between no and the next word, whatever that next word is. So if this is yes, no, or well, you put a comma after those words. Those are just three words that always will get a comma if they're at the beginning of the sentence. We won't be using this rule in our writing lesson today, but it's a good one to know just the same. Let me give you another example. Yes, comma, we will go to the store. You have the word yes, you need the comma. Also, if you have the word well, I think I will stay home. And I'm just making up sentences to give you examples. But if you start your sentence with the word well, you want to use the comma. So we have quite a bit there about commas. And I'm going to stop this video. We do have another rule, but I'll pick that one up in the next video.